as a side. In 1994, in 1990s, when we started to say that globalization is not going to be the answer for Indian economic problems, that India has its own social moorings, it has its philosophy, it has its sociology, and after all, there is a link between sociology and philosophy. There is a link between philosophy and the way people live, lifestyle, and lifestyle related to habits. Habits are related to what a person needs or doesn't need. And so there is an integral relationship between philosophy and actual life. And this is not integrated into the study of economics in the West. And so globalization is not going to deliver what it is promising to deliver or what it is being canvassed as being capable of delivering. And the word society is absent in the Western discourse. Margaret Thatcher said in 1971, there is nothing called a society. And all that the West has accepted today is civil society. You know, civil society and our understanding of society are totally different. Civil society is a club. Our society is a tradition. And our society is an open air university. It is our society which has produced Ramgarhia community, which has built Ludhiana, Batala, Jalandhar. You must go to those places and see. And how a community of artisans have built India into the largest spare parts supplier for the cycle industry all over the world. It was not done by any engineering college. Take Surat for instance, where 15 years ago people used to come and dirty the city from the nearby villages. Lakhs of people used to come. There was no water. They used to come with their cattle. The whole area would turn into open air lavatory. And it became a law and order problem. The government could not control it because the people there, no way they would have survived in village. But when they came, in 15 years, they learnt diamond cutting. Today, Saurashtra is the largest diamond cutting factory of the world. 9 out of 10 diamonds cut in the world are cut in Saurashtra. And because of that, we not only took up diamond manufacturing, 2/3 of the global diamond trade which was in the hands of the Jews, $25 billion diamond trade, $16 billion is in the hands of the Gujaratis today. No university accomplished it. No government planning did it. It is the social relationship between the people. You can never create that relationship. You can destroy that relationship. You know, a society which is integrally related by relationship is the society. Civil society is a society by contract. There is a huge difference between a relation-based society and a society based on contract. A civil society is a product of what is known as social contract theory, which is the basis on which all constitutions are founded, including our constitution, in which everybody is related to each other as co-citizens of a country and no other relationship is recognized. That is why in Philadelphia in America, a son could go and file a writ and say he must be divorced from his father because there is no relationship between father and son except as co-citizens, and the court granted it. You can understand that in the total Western sense of understanding of an individual, which is known as methodological individualism, on which the sociology of the West, on which the economics of the West, on which the social, on which the constitutional theories of the West are founded, does not recognize normal human relationship. And our society functions entirely on human relationships. In fact, contract make a small interlude only in the corporate sector, and that too backed by very powerful relationship. There is contract. Contract is not what drives India. Relationship is what drives India. And I will give you a couple of examples as to how it works. You know, in 1992, Mr. Manmohan Singh was the finance minister at that time. He invited Dr. Jagdish Bhagwati, who was the person who framed the entire WTO Dunkel Treaty. And he was called the god of free trade. And Jagdish Bhagwati was also regarded as the guru of Paul Krugman, who said, only because of my guru, I have got Nobel Prize now, in the year 2008. Jagdish Bhagwati himself was not a Nobel laureate, but he was a great economist. And when he came to India, Dr. Manmohan Singh asked him, we are in a mess. How are we to come up? Please tell us some way. He said that the problem with India is the Indians are saving more than what they need. You are saving 23% of your GDP and your families are saving 19%. Somehow you bring down the savings of the families from 19% to 10%. And 9% of the savings, when it becomes consumption, when people buy more goods, there will be more production, there will be more employment. And he built a whole theory based on that. And he said, unless you destroy family savings and bring it down by half, there is no way you can develop. And for which he said the biggest problem of India are the Indian women who are very miserly, and you must teach them how to spend. For which he said you must build huge malls, bring attractive goods from outside, and see that they are moved out of their reservations and they become consumers instead of being reserved family women. You know, this is a serious advice given by him, a 72-page advice which used to be in the website of the Finance Ministry till about 2 years ago. I don't know why they removed it. The government began doing it. But fortunately, this consumerist economics, which was the thrust of the economic reforms at that time, the media was happy, it was getting huge advertisements, and the advertising agencies were happy, and choreographers were happy, songs were there about how to buy the goods and all that, and our women sang the songs, never bought the goods. I will tell you what is the consequence of it. You know, our savings to GDP ratio in 1991 was 23%. It became 37% in the year 2009. It is now sustained at 34%. You know, this is what transformed